Welcome back to WxBuzz. I'm Schlotterbeck. He's Nate Snyder. We got a lot to talk about today. So,
No crab
mostly
ribs,
updates on
surprisingly.
yesterday's stuff. So Nate,
Oh yeah. So
we did some research
yes,
on Council 48. We're gonna
yeah,
start that. Our lead story is Council 48. Then we're gonna talk about the
yeah.
David Schlotthauer situation, the compound weather stuff, which is Nate's stuff, and then the SPC using the O word on the day 4 outlook, which is going to be the day 3 outlook by the time this goes out. So I'm going to do a forecast video tomorrow. I'm actually kind of excited. So let's start Council 48. LJ is in charge now. We did a little feature on LJ at the start of yesterday's show, but you know, it is what it is. So LJ said this in Council 48. Now I'll read this directly from the message. So sorry for the amount of mass pings today, but this is very important. As you all may have heard, I am the new owner of the server and website. This is because Thomas's account could have been linked to him IRL because of personal information a certain David Schlotthauer obtained. Since this server kind of died, I'm going to attempt to revive it by now actually hosting a call with everyone every month or so. Good. And make it more outfitted for weather talk as well. Good. Also, I hope to give this server some actual authority throughout the... I just broke my hand on my desk, but the show must go on. And then he locked the blacklist, so no one can look at it unless you are an admin in Council 48. Nate, do you have any insight on this as I fucking nurse my hand I just broke? Oh!
I mean the fact that before we used to have meetings every week and we would just basically shit talk David Schlotthauer. The meetings from weekly to now monthly is surely a whole lot better. As of the updates on Council 48, uh, as of from yesterday to today, absolutely nothing has happened. And with him saying that there was going to be a bit more authority among Council 48, personally, I was told that that's not how this is supposed to be ran. It's supposed to be everyone's supposed to put in their input, and that there wasn't really going to be anything authoritative except for basically a moderator, which was supposed to be Thomas, but now it's LJ. So
Yes, now, I am back. My hand is very red, and one of the fingers is not where it's supposed to be. But, so they closed down the blacklist, but it's still there, I think. But I don't have access to it anymore, and my source, William, who we'll talk about today, doesn't have access to it either. So it might be shut down, or it might still be running. I don't know. All I know is that, as far as I know, I'm still on it, and Zaz is still putting people on it. So, sorry, what's the name again? Jessica is still putting people on it.
Jessica, yeah.
Now, I think the blacklist is kind of stupid, and I think that's what the last sentence is kind of talking about, is Thomas having admin in different servers and the blacklist existing. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Here's the thing, I don't like the blacklist, not just because I was on it. I heard about it about a week before I was on it. I didn't really pay much attention, but now that I look back through my DMs, I was told that it existed. I thought it was kind of stupid. Like, that was the first Steve Miller comparison I made. I should have been making them before, but I was a bit late to the party here, as usual. But they locked the blacklist, which is a shame, because now I can no longer, when I need some inspiration, read aesthetical followed by my ID, drama creator, instigating bullshit in Torads, Drama Llama, which they removed. They removed Drama Llama, and LJ did that, so I dislike him already. Here's the thing. I don't dislike the idea of having a council where all the servers talk to each other. I just dislike the idea of, let's be honest, Owini, LJ, having so much power in the community. I thought Thomas, if someone was going to have to run this, I'd rather have it be Thomas than LJ. If I had my pick of who was going to run it totally, I'd pick Harrison Cater. He's great. If Council 48 falls through, and through some stroke of luck I manage to pick up the pieces, which I really don't want to do, I'm giving it over to Harrison Cater when I get doxxed. He's a great guy. If I had to pick one guy, it'd be Harrison. Nate, who would you pick? If you had to pick the leader of the Discord meteorological community, who would it be? Who would you choose?
Oh, because I do have to choose. Now, personally, I wouldn't say that just kill the entire council, but because I have to choose, I would probably have to choose. I mean, I know some people within the community. I don't really know too much because I haven't really communicated with them. That's not really what I was sent to do over there. But yeah, I would say Harrison would be a good one. Um, he seems to know what he's doing, and he seems to have a somewhat level head.
And he already owns a big chasing server. And he's a former
Mm-hmm.
admin in Stormtrack, and he was one of the few Stormtrack admins I liked. So maybe I'm being biased here, but I liked Harrison, and I still like Harrison. I think if I had to pick who would be the leader of the weather community on Discord, I'd pick Harrison or Dean. But here's the thing with Dean, he's not very well liked among some groups. But Harrison, I don't know anyone who actually dislikes Harrison besides Stephen Miller. Or Steve Miller. Is Stephen even his full name? I don't know. But Steve Miller doesn't like Harrison. I know that much. He blocked him. He blocked me. So, I don't blame Steve Miller for blocking me, to be honest. But Harrison's very well liked. And that's why I'm just kind of bewildered. There are better options out there than LJ. And I know Harrison probably wouldn't want to run Council 48. I wouldn't want to run Council 48. But there's someone better than LJ. I'd take Nate over LJ. I'd take... No, I wouldn't take Will over LJ. But I would take Nate over LJ. I would take Daniel. I wouldn't take Zaz, actually. There's a lot of people in the community who are very active and very motivated who are better than LJ at running servers, running networks. Maybe he'll prove us wrong. I don't think he's going to. We're going to give out the award yearly. The one we gave out in the first episode, which was supposed to be the third, but due to YouTube being a cuck, is the first now.
Yeah.
We gave out that award. We're going to be giving this thing out yearly, and I think LJ might be on the ballot for next year. Any more thoughts on the LJ thing before we move on to our next story?
Why don't you make the award monthly so that it's a thing?
Monthly, true. The turnover.
People don't have to forget about it. Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things where it is what it is. But I mean, I think they probably gave it to LJ. Like Thomas probably gave it to LJ because he knows him a bit more than most of the people out there. But at the same time, probably should have, I guess, have done applications for the role.
We should have had a vote. Although if we had a vote, I probably would have been able to game the system and win. So maybe that's for the best that we didn't have a vote. Democracy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For the Republic.
Something that the weather community does not like. Something we need more of. But on to the next topic. We'll have AJ bring us in with that one.
We're gonna leave that for the end. Actually, we're gonna start with Schlotthauer because I have another source who says that. Now, I will take this with a grain of salt. Alright? Apparently, Schlotthauer basically stiffed Thomas into giving up his account. Like, this wasn't just having personal information attached to his account. This was basically Schlotthauer making a threat of some kind. Now, Nate, I know you have a little bit more insight onto the story than I do, and honestly, because of how ugly the story sounds, according to the person I was talking to, I hope that you have better insight than the source, because I really don't want to believe that there's someone doing this in the weather community. I thought we were better.
I mean...
Did Schlotthauer stiff Thomas? Was there anything like that?
I mean, I could potentially see it. I can't confirm fully, but there was some people saying that, yes, he indeed did stiff Thomas. And if you take a look at his track record too, he's been doing this.
He's done this
ever since his he's done this before. He's done this ever since his channel came out. That's how he's basically got the upper hand over people. He's been trying to intimidate and increase the popularity of his channel at the same time. And it seems as if he's been caught red-handed once again.
See, I would love to get Schlotthauer on the show. I know it's a very young podcast. It's our second episode. We got like 15 views on the first one because I didn't promote it anywhere because I'm dumb. Sometime I would love to have Schlotthauer on. Just have him explain himself. Maybe he has a good explanation. Maybe I don't know, maybe someone pulled a gun on him or something. Who knows? But I would like to hear his side of the story. So I'm going to try and get him on one of these weeks. One of these days, because there's so much stuff happening in the community. I just have to keep making these, man. Now,
I mean, it's basically a drama alert for weather. At
basically
this point.
drama alert. And I want to talk about weather, and believe me, at the end of the show, I have a lot of weather to talk about. Because it's about to get cold, and it's about to get stormy down in the south. But let's talk a little bit more about Schlotthauer, because he has something else he's done. He has started doing mesoscale discussions. Now, this was brought to my attention by Daniel and Nate. So thanks, Nate, and thanks, Daniel. I know you might be listening. I'm going to bring this onto the shot here, actually, if I can pull this up. I'm going to read this off. This is his third one. Discussion. Latest satellite imagery indicates that very tall thunderheads are exploding across southern Texas as indicated in recent satellite imagery. Fairly clear skies ahead of the thunderstorm line has led to strong daytime heating at the surface, with surface dew points in the upper 60s, low 70s. There has to be like a comma there, or a line or something. This has contributed to ML Cape numbers around 5,000 to 5,750 joules per kilogram, and most unstable Cape of 6,000 joules per kilogram, as evident in recent RAP soundings in the area and satellite data. One, I don't know why he's using the RAP. I think he's using the RAP model, not the actual observed soundings. And observed soundings in this case would probably be better, because what time would this be? Yeah, this would be right after sounding data would come in.
This is 1:30 his time in Pacific.
Yeah, so there should be soundings out at this point.
Yeah, so 3:30 Central is when he took the picture and
I'm pretty sure there was a special launch on that
analysis.
day too. I think there was a 1 p.m. about launch that day. This environment is very conducive for discrete cell mode development. That sentence, it's wrong in the way it's worded, but at least it makes sense. But with very low wind shear profile, is wind shear one word? I've always seen it as two. The threat for tornadoes, I thought it's two. For tornadoes looks very unlikely, but a brief spin up can't be ruled out due to intense updraft helicity with some of the biggest, strongest, long-lived. What? Commas, man! Commas! For the biggest, strongest, long-lived supercell storms. These high Cape numbers indicate hail could reach the size of baseballs and softballs over the red, capitalized, highlighted area. Also, there's a threat. That's a new sentence. That's a run-on sentence. See me after class. Also, there is a threat for very strong, damaging winds. You don't capitalize threats. You don't, typically.
Yeah.
Due to evaporator of cooling. Nope, not quite. Not quite.
Basically, we have the grammar Nazi here, but if I may interject with my opinions on this, this was far from correct, folks. Let's put it this way. The most unstable and surface Cape was around 5,500, not the mixed layer. The mixed layer
Cape was
a
bit different that day, wasn't it?
It was like 3,500, something like that, along those ranges. So definitely not correct whatsoever, as well as him predicting that this threat was going to continue all the way through that area. The models actually said that there was a high capping inversion set in place around those areas, meaning that would limit thunderstorms to those risks and below. So they wouldn't get stronger. They probably wouldn't sustain themselves. They would probably just end up being scattered thunderstorms, in which that is exactly what happened. Everything decided to dissipate as soon as it went right over the center of that circle and just decided to go away, except for some storms that went into the general vicinity of the Houston area. But other than that, basically it was not a good discussion whatsoever.
Now, sometimes even the SPC gets these wrong. Lord knows when I write AFDs for fun or MCDs for fun, I usually don't publish them widely. I'll send them to a friend and say, hey, is this good? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. I get them wrong a lot too. But this is so fucking awful. And I'm swearing today because Lord knows this isn't getting monetized. So awful. Like, oh my, baseball size hail increasing. Baseball sized hail. Sized. It's an adverb.
The grammar Nazi.
Or something. Hail increasing. And why are you capitalizing increase? I don't get it. This is just very poorly worded. I'd rather have block text than this. I'd rather have fucking all caps. Maybe then I wouldn't notice the lack of commas. Now, I will give credit where credit is due. He does seem to have a basic grasp on the core concepts here. Alright, the capping inversion, while it was there, wasn't entirely... There was a possibility that what he said could have happened, but it didn't. But at least he has a basic understanding of cape. And that's more than I can say for most of the people in his audience. So, maybe we'll cut him some slack here. Now, he's written more of these, and I don't have the screenshots because I am lazy and really don't feel like putting more screenshots up. But I have another one that he has said here. This one, he said, this is the second one. Straight line damaging winds, extremely large hail, few tornadoes likely across southern Illinois into southern Indiana and Kentucky. Discussion. This one's actually very well written, so I don't believe that he wrote this himself. It is looking very likely that a squall line is taking shape now across central Illinois and northwestern Indiana. Recent RAP analysis... that's fine. It's meso-analysis typically, but maybe he's analyzing the synoptic scale things on the RAP. And sounding data shows that environment downstream ahead of the line remains moderately unstable with ML cape, that's mixing layer cape, of 2,000 joules per kilogram, undermining 35 to 50 knot shear and mid-level lapse rates of 7 to 9.5 degrees per kilometer. However, it does appear that some convective inhibition of negative 25 to negative 60 joules per kilogram due to some diurnal cooling of the planetary boundary layer. Oh, what the hell, it's fine. This should be just enough to develop a more organized squall MCS line. Squall MCS line. You can either use squall line or an MCS squall line, but not squall MCS line. With limited discrete cell development ahead of the line. There's a possible tornado along the line, but this will be decreasing over the next few hours as the weak convective inhibition helps elevate storms a bit. What? However, upper level winds will remain conducive for frontal forcing, and it's this variable that will help some storms keep severe. Nevertheless, damaging 85 plus mile-an-hour straight line winds and brief tornado cannot be ruled out. Given decreasing cape numbers overnight, the hail threat looks to be more tamed around 11 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Please react to the thumbs up if you saw this discussion. It got 6 thumbs up out of a server of, 80 people? So,
More than that. It's more than 100.
More than 100? Yeah. Well,
it's 156 members.
I don't blame him for trying, and I dare say he's more knowledgeable than I thought he was. But these are not very well written. And he could use a copy editor.
Yeah.
Just get someone to look through it, man. I mean, it's not that hard.
And I do want to say this too, is that this one is also, this mesoscale discussion / prediction, if you will, was also kind of wonky too. Because even though this was a QLCS line, this line in total ended up producing embedded supercells that could produce brief tornadoes along the line, which it actually did. But in this specific area, there's actually a higher amount of cap inversion, and it ended up breaking up this entire line as it went into the southwestern part of Kentucky. So it's one of those things where the picture, I'm not sure if he pulled up the actual picture of what he put on, but he circled an area of that area, and it says damaging wind threat increasing. The opposite happened, and storms decided to diminish and produce lesser amounts of winds and lesser wind damage reports. So it's one of those things where kind of really didn't pay attention fully too much, but he had the general idea.
And just another note.
As for calling for, just real quick, just for a reference, he also did say that within these areas that there would be damaging 85 mile per hour straight line winds, with even after saying the cap inversion. If there were some cap inversion, you should have realized that the storms would have relatively weakened over a bit because it wouldn't have gotten as much energy to the storms. So for you to call out, I'm not sure if AJ is going to read the first one that he did, but for him to increase the wind risk was just one of those things where he wasn't really too smart. Actually,
I don't think he's dumb.
You can go ahead and...
I think he understands the weather. I think he does. I think he's actually just hyping things up more to get more
Oh
views.
yeah.
He
As a matter of
understands the
fact,
concepts.
as a matter of fact, not to not. I hope this isn't really too late, but I do want to show you something within the stream. He did, and I quote, say that please don't. No, no, wait, that's the wrong one. But he did say that winds could be in excess of, here it is, winds excess over 100 miles per hour.
That would be a significant. You would have to have a very strong MCS, probably an MCC, with a very strong rear inflow jet to get winds that strong.
Yep. And actually, as a matter of fact, not to do it, but I'm going to quickly send that to you just so you'd have just some evidence of all of that. That was just something I did want to point out, that there is a reason why we call him the hype train.
He's the hype train. See, he's not. I thought I was the hype train, but I thought I was good hype. But now this guy is making everyone who hypes things up look bad, so I just have to turn everything down. Now I'm the bust guy. Because of people like Schlotthauer, now I have to be the negative Nelly and call everything a bust, alright? Thanks, Schlotthauer. Thanks a lot, you pompous prick. Alright, also, please do come on the show. I love you, David. Alright. Next up, Compound Weather. There's some drama in that server. Let's move that to the end of the show, because I know some people want to hear that. And if they listen this long, then they can listen to me talk about the SPC using the word outbreak on the day 4 outlook. That is huge.
Good
big,
lord.
Very big. They use the O word, okay? Not orgasm, not ovulation, outbreak. That's big. Very big. Not good at all if you live in the South. So I'm going to read off the first couple words of this outlook. An outbreak of severe thunderstorms appears possible on Sunday across parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and possibly into Georgia by Sunday night. Tornadoes, potentially long, tracked, or strong, and widespread damaging winds are expected to be the primary hazards. Woo! On day 4. Day 4. That is big, big verbiage by the SPC. They never go that big on day 4. I'm interested to see how this develops. I've been looking at the GFS, I've been looking at the NAM. The GFS is kind of underselling it, but the NAM is really, really thinking that morning crap vection is not going to ruin the event. I'm going to do a full forecast video tomorrow with Nate, hopefully with Nate. Maybe with David.
Yeah, I'll possibly stream it on my channel too, so you'll get dual perspectives.
You should probably bring me on somehow, because hey, I haven't been wrong yet this year. I'm just saying, I'm going on a roll this year, all right? I've called every bust. We haven't had any huge outbreaks I've missed. I'm doing all right. I'd say I'm probably doing at least 10% better than David Schlotthauer. And I don't even make money off this. Not that he does, but
neither of us do.
None of us. You make more money than I do off this.
Yeah. But we're working on that.
We're working
hopefully
on it,
we all.
Now, compound weather stuff, Nate, you take it away. I'll interrupt to ask questions, but you can really just let loose, buddy.
Oh yeah. So over the past few podcasts, we have talked about this Discord server called Compound Weather. Now, for just a brief history of what happened and how this thing basically came into existence. David deleted his server, so they created a separate server that is now deleted, and now this server is in existence, and it's just a hodgepodge of drama and all sorts of stuff surrounded within the server. But what has happened now is that they have actually banned one of their own staff members. That is right. They have banned one of their staff members due to multiple warnings of him breaking the rules, as well as sending porn to someone's personal DM unsolicited.
Now, I will ask, what website was this porn procured from? And is it one I know? Is it some obscure website? Is it something really nasty? Is it Best Gore? What is it? What is it?
I mean, here's the thing. I don't look at these specific websites.
I'm sure you don't. It's E621.
That he has
it was
sent.
E621. This
Yeah, it's
sent someone
E621.
porn.
It was. basically furry porn, and
Furry porn.
that right there. I mean, if I was the one being sent to it, I'd rather have just regular, but furry porn, kind of a big no in my opinion,
Yeah. That's what you said
unsolicited.
about the Charizard video, all right?
None of you know, but that is a great
Oh, Daniel
video.
knows. Trust me, I've told him. But yeah, basically, so who is this mysterious figure who got banned from comp? Somehow got banned. Even I'm not banned there, and I'm on a blacklist, which means I'm supposed to be banned. How did this guy? Who is? Who did this? Who did this? OMG, who is it?
So for the people of compound weather, or for the people who have been in compound weather, you might have seen a person by the name of Alex. He is the guy that has been banned. Now, what's even stranger is that isn't even his real name. His real name is William. And so why he is providing false information about himself, becoming even more mysterious, especially as a staff member of a relatively large server for the weather community, is quite suspicious in my opinion.
Yes. Now, I did some research on this man, this mysterious figure, and I concluded that they are 14 or 15. I don't know. It's kind of like Denise.
Yep.
You don't know. They're just around there. He says 14 going on 15, so we'll take that. Now, he accused certain people in Compound Weather of being weenies. Wow, that's a big accusation to levy at someone. I haven't called anyone a weenie on this podcast yet.
Yeah, I mean, allow me to interject, but if he wants to call people weenies, there has been reports of the reports that he has been deleting people's opinions and weather predictions. So most people call other people weenies, but quite honestly, you're probably one yourself if you mention that phrase. So
Especially if you're deleting other people's opinions, that's pretty whack, man. I mean, come on. Even I don't delete Waz's stupid posts and linguini meanies, alright? I mean, come on. Here's the deal with this.
yeah,
Calling someone a weenie in the weather community is like calling someone a noob in a competitive game, alright? It's pretty mean-spirited. So, I think that if you're going to be levying the accusations, you better be pretty darn smart yourself. Now, I understand the quality of discussion there wasn't the greatest. It was certainly higher than OKGCN, probably around the same as Torads. I think I give it about that level of conversation. But definitely not everyone there's a weenie. There's some smart guys there. Not all of them, probably not most of them, but there's a lot of smart people in that server. And to call everyone you don't agree with a weenie is just really, I think, quite disrespectful. And, I wouldn't do it. I'm a mean guy. I know that. I know I'm sometimes someone who says things I shouldn't. I wouldn't call an entire server group of people, especially a group of people that had you as a moderator and didn't seem to complain about you all that much as far as moderators go. Lord knows I get complained about. Alright? And I didn't hear very many people complaining about him. Now, one thing that he talked about was apparently they found some NSFW posts on his Twitter. If you're 14, you shouldn't be posting NSFW stuff on Twitter in the first place. Alright? Is that legal? I don't think so. Isn't that a little banner when you go to your furry website? It says you got to be 18 to enter the site. Was he just saying, nope, I ignore that. I mean, I know everyone does, but you're not 18, bud. You shouldn't be posting it, for the love of God. Now, Nate, you have some insight on this as well. Is this a repeated pattern of behavior, or is this uncharacteristic for Will?
I mean, Will, in my opinion, has always been a bit two-faced when it comes to just personal DMs and just talking in general. I believe he can admit that he shows one face and then shows another and expects us to believe that something is not something not really so suspicious is happening behind the scenes. So I believe that he's always been kind of shady, if you will. He did one thing that I didn't really fully agree with was that within the day of him getting staff as a helper, he then got promoted to moderator, and I actually wasn't in that meeting to where people voted for him to be to be promoted. But otherwise, I would have told most of the staff that, he has had this kind of shady reputation.
Now, here's the thing. He levied an accusation against you, and I would love to have him on the show next episode. He got mad at me because we recorded at 10. We agreed to record at 10 because you were talking to a lady friend.
Oh, yeah.
So, there's something that he said earlier was that you were just mad because he got you demoted. Did he get you demoted? Is there a conflict of interest here that my viewers should know about?
Well, yes, I indeed get demoted. However, that is not the main reason why I am a bit upset. I do, as a staff member, take my role seriously, whether or not I am admin, whether or not I am owner, whether or not I am helper or moderator. But what did kind of get me on edge was the fact that not only I got demoted down to helper from moderator, but someone else also got demoted from moderator to helper in return for him getting promoted to moderator. So it just, something didn't seem right at the time of how two moderators got demoted in order for there to be one more moderator. So it's just kind of sketchy. I have no beef with him. Obviously, AJ can attest, we talked even after the entire situation.
Yes,
and
I can attest.
really
I talked with him too after the situation. He called me an ass after I said I wouldn't push the podcast back.
But it's just one of those things where nothing really even happened afterwards, and we didn't really even instigate anything either. So there wasn't really any beef. We're all relatively professional, or at least I am. I can't really speak for the other people. They'd have to speak for themselves, honestly. But
Yeah,
I'd say I am
yet.
relatively professional, and I have no beef with anyone.
Speaking for people, before we end the show, because I said we're gonna have a 30-minute episode, and we already hit 32 minutes. There's a lot to talk about these days. Interestingly enough, with the Torad situation going on over there right now, I heard that there are people trying to get me back into Torads. I commend you. Y'all are cool. I don't think it's gonna happen. You should probably put your energy elsewhere. All right, I don't think I'm gonna be back under the current ownership.
I mean,
just,
my opinion is that there's always room for second chances, but I would not expect to see you in Torads anytime soon, my friend.
Yeah, and here's the thing. We have a little conspiracy theory about all that, which I'm not going to go into on the podcast, because I don't really have that much proof for it. But the proof that I do have is pretty damning. Would you agree on that? It's pretty...
Yeah, I would have to say so. I mean, coincidences come every now and then, but I don't believe that this is a coincidence.
I don't think it's a coincidence either. Maybe someday we'll talk about that. But for now, Thank you so much for watching. Nate, do you have anything else to add?
I mean, other than the fact that these podcasts are great and you guys should continue to look forward to more in the future, nothing really much besides the drama in the weather community never stops, and we're here to report on it.
We're always here to report on it, and the actual weather, which I want to do more of. But it's 30 degrees right now on April the 10th. Yeah. We're going to break our record low on Easter, because we're going to have 3 inches of snow on Easter.
Oh, yeah. That's mental.
There are leaves on the trees, Nate. We're going to have power outages out the ass. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be great. And we have a big outbreak coming on in the south. We're going to do a forecast special tomorrow. I am so thankful to the people who actually watched the last episode. I don't know how you found it. Especially the one person who watched the whole way through. What a hero. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ascetical. AJ Schlotterbeck. He's Nate Snyder. We'll be back probably... The rate things are going... we might be back in 20 minutes with another episode. But look for that. Y'all have a good day. Peace.
Take care, everyone.